About DeepSeek, because it is mind-blowing and it is shaking this entire industry to its core.
The stock market is now collapsing a little bit. As you guys know, China basically looked at America's AI tech, which I think this kind of exposes the fraudulent nature of the American AI sector in its entirety. After half of a decade of like American tech CEOs saying AI is, you have to give us like $7 gazillion and how AI is eventually going to kill all of us anyway. Oh my God, it's so powerful. I'm so scared of my own invention. Please give me endless money, please. Right? Like after American AI people basically just kept repeating over and over again how insane it is, right? How AI is dope. Or 2 days after, basically, the $500 billion investment that Donald Trump signed off on, the Chinese government was like, hey, by the way, hey, just so you know, we had a bunch of engineers that on the side looked at all of the open AI stuff and made their version of it for like literally $1. Hey, cool AI, we made one, and also now it's free, so we're just totally undercutting the American like paywalled strategy of trying to make AI that is paywalled, and also we're just going to show you it's open source, so like you can look at it. You can open up the hood, look at it, try to comprehend it, understand that it's like not super complicated. Yeah, here we made it for you guys made it for $600 billion. Here we made it for $6 million.
The emergence of DeepSeek now putting pressure on the U.S. tech names. We told you all about it last week in Davos. The buzz started growing about DeepSeek.
Like my attitude on this has not changed. I still think it's slop. AI is an incredibly valuable tool for the future. Okay, it's a tool nonetheless. Unfortunately, under capitalism, all new technological innovations are used in one direction and one direction only. That is to displace the existing labor force. Right? AI must be a tool for the people and not for the bosses. This is something that we have to regulate against. As a matter of fact, the government is supposed to regulate against these sorts of things. Okay? But AI as it stands is absolutely in its infancy. It still has a tremendous amount of development that it must go through in order for it to be like a viable thing that changes people's lives in a super meaningful capacity.
Its latest AI model being more efficient while running on a lot less advanced NVIDIA chips. Released last week, it's already being called what is a major breakthrough as the app shows its work, its reasoning, it answers users' prompts. I, by the way, was spent basically all weekend playing with it. It is the #1 app, I believe, on Apple right now. The product overtaking ChatGPT today as that on the App Store that way. DeepSeek, which was created by a Chinese hedge fund manager, also capturing the attention of leaders, as we mentioned at the World Economic Forum last week in Davos.
We should take the development out of China very, very seriously.
What we found is that DeepSeek, which is the leading Chinese AI lab, their model is actually the top performing or roughly on par with the best American models.
If the United States can't lead in this technology, we're going to be in a very bad place geopolitically.
Now, you can take a look right now at the AI-related stocks. So NVIDIA, ARM, AMD, Microsoft, Meta, interestingly, on that list, given its open source. We got to talk about the open source, closed source bit of this as well.
And then it's a shocker to see NVIDIA down by more than 12% right now.
Absolutely. And then you have global chip stocks also in the red across the board, ASML Holdings and others that right this moment, I mean, I don't know if did you get to play? It is mind-blowing.
It looks really great. I mean, it feels like it's open source, so people can test this out themselves.
But I can tell you all the tests that I do just to see whether I think the writing is better, whether I think that it can answer certain questions. I mean, it was not only faster, it was more human. The reasoning is shocking.
Dude, I fucking love this shit. I'm sorry. It's hard to not see a moment where, like, very clearly you can have so much technological innovation, not even have it be hyper focused on supercharged profits, and done under the watchful gaze of a communist government. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. Ryan Grimm says, most people don't own these stocks, etc., but this is what it looks like to lose a global competition. The downstream effects lead to a lower standard of living for the losing society and a higher for the winners. But our tech oligarchs will remain wealthy beyond description no matter what. This should be an important moment of recognition for our American overlords to perhaps move away from the previous models. And I don't mean previous models of AI. I mean just like previous modes of governance. But of course, this will just simply lead to more xenophobia, specifically xenophobia, okay? And instead of going, hey, maybe we should cherish international open cooperation and look to uplift society, we will continue trying to maintain the zero-sum singular hegemonic power status game that we've been playing. And the inevitable reality of that outcome is that if the other country wins, then we're on their whims. Then we're in their mercy. Because if they choose to operate in a similar fashion, what if they dominate us? And that is the fear that many Americans hold. Meanwhile, this could be a great opportunity for everyone to say, hey, all right, well, it seems like China's coming up a little bit. Okay, seems like they're coming up. They're coming up big time. So maybe we should stop behaving like violent animals and seek to uplift the world instead of engaging in endless profit seeking. But of course, I'm joking. I mean, come on. That would never happen. The American government was like, wait a minute. How are you able to do this? You don't have the powerful chips. You don't have the microchip technology. It's illegal to export those things to you, which is the dumbest thing on the planet. In this global marketplace, America was like, no, we definitely have stopped the fucking Chinese government from being able to purchase processors. How is that? Where once again, our adversaries are using our tools against us to dominate us in very meaningful ways in spectacular fashion. DeepSeek just proved Lena Khan right. The former FTC chair warned that enabling protectionism for tech monopolies wouldn't just hurt all of us, it would hurt them too. Now they're getting wiped out. By the way, they did it a second time. DeepSeek launches Janus Pro 7B open source multimodal AI which surpasses DALL-E 3 and Stable Diffusion in benchmarks. This is why the timeline has been on fire and people are losing their minds over it. Over $1 trillion has been wiped from the stock market today. Nvidia has now erased more than $600 billion of its own market cap today. That is more than double the market cap of Coca-Cola. This exceeds the previous record of the biggest one-day drop in a stock history, which was when Meta's stock dropped by $251 billion.
There were moments where I was like, "Oh my God, we are so much." You could feel the step change as a person. I will also say,
I love how much this guy's glazing it.
Exciting as it was, there was an element where I became scared because I thought, I had the opportunity to talk to all these people last week and they all said the future's here and da-da-da-da. And then you sort of see it and you go, oh, okay, I feel you, in a different sort of visceral way. So yes, I think this is all happening at a level that when you mark your sort of AI history timeline in life, I think this past week, today and everything else will be on it.
It's just like a very strange thing where we see technological advancements. Like there's nothing, I think, more anti-human than being so profit invested, so profit slanted, and so I guess nationalistic that you see like technological advancements happening around the globe that will advance mankind, even though like AI in and of itself, once again, I'm going to urge you to understand, doesn't matter if it's Chinese or American AI still is at its infancy. One day we will look back, maybe in the future, if we make it that far, if AI doesn't literally melt the planet so that the dumbest crypto guys can make their stupid fucking AI art. But if that doesn't happen, one day we will look back at this moment and go, we thought this was fire. Okay. And I'll give you an example of the exponential growth of technology. This is an iPhone. Okay. This right here is an iPhone. This has enough computing power in this tiny little thing, probably 100 times more powerful than my first desktop computer. I had a Pentium. It was a massive tower. And now this thing is infinitely cheaper in comparison when you think about it. And it's 1,000 times more powerful. So like that happened in my lifetime. massive leaps and bounds that have taken place that have made people's lives better in very meaningful fashion. And I think AI is no different. Right now, looking at AI at this stage, though, it's nowhere near. Murphy's Law isn't necessarily constant, sure, but I just don't think that like AI is nowhere near where it's supposed to be in terms of like this global dominating force. Aside from what this move from China did to the American stocks that were hyper reliant on marketing their new tools. With the shiny new object that is AI. AI is actually something growing exponentially faster. I don't think it's going to flop like you seem to believe. Wait, what? I never said it's going to flop. I simply stated that most people at this stage that claim like AI is this world controlling superpower or whatever is just, it's scary, are saying that. They're saying that because they want more money and because they want more control. Like when Sam Altman comes out and says, we got to rewrite the social contract. And then this Chinese project just comes out of nowhere and is like, oh yeah, you're going to rewrite the social contract? How about you rewrite your notes, Sam Altman? Because we've, here's a better version of what you've been working on that you claim requires $700 grillion. Hey, have fun on your second round of fundraising, okay? Why do I use ChatGPT daily then if it's useless? I don't understand. I don't. I'm old. I don't use ChatGPT at all. I'd never use it, and I most likely won't. And I have no problems if you're using it daily. Go ahead, have fun. I want to maintain parts of my brain. This already broke most of it, okay? This already broke retention. This already broke critical thinking in many ways. This already broke attention spans. I don't want to further undermine the parts of my brain that require me to engage in critical thinking because I can just rely on a machine to do it for me. I'm not doing that, especially when the machine is predisposed to hallucinations and lying. The American marketplace was already under the assumption that like the Chinese government or Chinese corporations have the capacity to create competitive products, especially at a much lower price point. Okay. This would not be as shocking. You would not experience market shocks in the way that you're currently experiencing them because you would have already hedged your bets against that sort of thing. As informed investors would look at this and go, of course that's the case. If our approach to AI was not dissimilar to the Chinese one, where the attitude was, well, this is supposed to be, especially in its infancy, something that should be given to the world, partially because it must be open source because of the necessary training, but also because like this isn't supposed to be a tool that is paywalled, but instead a tool that advances society. This would not be the case. I think the funniest part about the DeepSeek stuff is not necessarily that they're making a version of the AI that is like even better than the American version or anything. Okay. I think DeepSeek in many ways just kind of exposes the fraudulent nature of like the tech sector.